Scapula. Scapula is a flat bone located in the posterior lateral aspect of the thorax. It inverted triangle consists of 3 border, 3 angle, and 3 surface. Border, 3 border, superior border, medial border, lateral border, 3 angle, superior angle, inferior angle, lateral angle, and 3 surface, anterior surface, posterior surface, lateral surface. Let's talk about each surface. The first, anterior surface, concave, called costal surface because it lay on costal ribs of thoracic cage. Contain one fossa called subscapular fossa. Posterior surface contain the spine. Spine of the scapula. It continues as flat bone called acromion process. The spine divides the posterior surface of the scapula into 2 parts: superior, supraspinous fossa, inferior, infraspinous fossa. Okay? Lateral surface and the last contain one fossa called glenoid fossa. Superior, supraglenoid tubercle, inferior, infraglenoid tubercle. Okay? Glenoid fossa articulate with head of the humerus to do shoulder joint. Okay? How can I know this bone right or left? And how can I put it in the anatomical position? To know the answer, we should first answer to 3 important questions of any bone. To know, we must detect anterior surface from posterior surface, upper border from lower, medial from lateral. In this bone, an anterior surface concave to smooth. Posterior surface contain the spine. So I attached it anterior, posterior. How can I know medial from lateral? And this bone, lateral surface contain glenoid fossa to articulate with the humerus. We need to imagine this to know. Okay? Superior from inferior. Superior, I said it inverted triangle. Superior, inferior. So this bone right or left? This bone is left. Put glenoid fossa lateral, then attach it to the spine from posterior. You will determine it easily. This bone is left bone, and this is the anatomical position. Try another bone. This fossa, subscapular fossa, spine, attach it posterior, glenoid fossa lateral. This bone is right. Okay. I will talk about clavicle. this bone is called clavicle. It is a long bone lay in front of the neck, subcutaneous, okay? It divided into 3 parts: medial end, the shaft, lateral end. Any long bone divided into 3 parts: medial end or proximal, the shaft, then lateral end or distal end, okay? The clavicle is the only long bone lays horizontal in the body, okay? Medial end or sternal end articulate with the sternum and formation the joint called sternoclavicular joint, okay? Medial end is quadrangular. Lateral end flat. Articulate with the acromion process of the scapula. Okay? We touch the acromion process is the part of the scapula. It is the continuation of the spine, which is located in the dorsal surface of the scapula. Spine continuous as process called acromion process. Articulate with the lateral end of the clavicle to give acromioclavicular joint. Okay? The shaft. The shaft of the clavicle divided into medial 2/3 and the lateral 1/3. Medial 2/3 convex and the lateral 1/3 concave. It's important to determine it's right or left. Medial 2/3 convex, lateral concave. Medial convex, 2/3 of the shaft, lateral concave. Okay? Superior surface of the scapula is smooth. But inferior surface rough. Cause it. Give attention to ligament muscles. I will talk about it. Okay? Clavicle has 2 ends. Medial end, lateral end. Flat, quadrangular. Articulate with sternum, articulate with acromion process of the scapula. Okay? Has 2 borders. Anterior, posterior. Anterior border. Anterior 2/3 of the shaft, convex. Medial. Anterior 2/3 medial. Anterior 1/3 lateral of the shaft, concave. Convex, 2/3, concave. Anterior, posterior. Okay? Surface. Superior, inferior. Superior, smooth. Inferior surface, medial, there is rough impression. Give costoclavicular ligament, okay? In the shaft, there is groove, subclavius groove. Lateral, there is tubercle called conoid tubercle and line called trapezoid line. Give attention to another ligament, okay? How can I determine anatomical position and there is right or left? I talk about it. You should determine anterior border, posterior border, medial end, lateral end, superior, inferior. Okay? Superior, inferior, very easy. Superior, smooth, inferior, rough. Medial, lateral. Lateral end, flat end. Medial end, quadrangular end. Okay? Anterior, border from posterior, anterior 2/3, convex, posterior 1/3, concave, and medial 2/3, convex, lateral 1/3, concave. There is anterior border, okay? Okay, very easy. So, this spoon, right or left? Touch it. This, I put it in the anatomical position. This spoon is right clavicle. This is humerus. Humerus is a long bone, consists of 3 parts. Any long bone divided to proximal end, shaft, distal end. Okay? Proximal end consists of head and neck. 2 types of neck: surgical neck and anatomical neck. Anatomical neck around the head. This. Surgical neck below. In between anatomical and surgical neck, there is 2 tuberosity. Lesser tuberosity and the greater tuberosity. Lesser, greater. Lesser tuberosity, greater tuberosity. In between them, there is groove called biceptal groove. Okay? Shaft of the humerus contain 1 tuberosity called deltoid tuberosity. Give attached to the deltoid muscle. Then lower end. Lower end, I should determine medial from lateral first. How can I do? Okay. Head of the humerus located medially to articulate with glenoid fossa to do shoulder joint, okay? Like this. Medial. Okay? And in the lower end, how can I do بقى? I determined medial from lateral. How can I determine anterior from posterior? In the lower end, there is fossa called olecranian fossa. It located posterior. Okay? I attached to olecranian fossa. There is posterior, and it is anterior view. And head located medially. I attached the bone in the correct anatomical position, like this. Okay? Lower end بقى, lower end, anterior divided لإيه? Anterior. Head medially from inferior, medial epicondyle, lateral epicondyle. Okay? There is 2 fossa. Medial called coronoid fossa, lateral called radial fossa. Okay? And there is 2 prominent bone like this, rounded and located lateral called capitula. Okay? And this bone located medially called trochlea. Trochlea, capitula, lateral epicondyle, medial epicondyle, posterior olecranian fossa. Okay? The humerus shaft, near the end, it become more flat. So We call this medial supracondylar ridge, lateral supracondylar ridge. Okay? How can I determine this bone right or left? I said that you should answer first. This bone, which part? Medial, which lateral, which anterior, which posterior. To determine medial, the head located medially, medial, and olecranial fossa located posterior, attached to olecranial fossa, both head posterior, both head medial. This bone is right bone. Okay? Okay. Muscle attached to the scapula from dorsal surface, posterior surface, infraspinous fossa contain infraspinatus, supraspinous fossa contain supraspinatus muscle. Okay? Okay. Lateral border contain 3 muscle. Medial border contain 3 muscle. Let's see enumerate. From lateral border, teres minor, teres major, and from the inferior angle, latissimus dorsal. Medial border contains 3 muscle. Above the spine, levator scapulae. In front of the spine, rhomboidus minor, plus spine, rhomboidus major. Okay? The spine. Upper border contains 1 muscle, lower border 1 muscle. Upper trapezius, lower deltoid, and attached to the acromion process. Okay? Ventral surface. Ventral surface contain in the subscapular fossa muscle called subscapularis, and from anterior surface of the medial border muscle called serratus anterior. Okay? Okay. 4 muscles in this area. In supraspinous fossa originate supraspinatus muscle, 2 inserted in greater tuberosity. In infraspinous fossa originate infraspinatus, 2 originate in greater tuberosity. Okay? In the lateral border of the dorsal aspect of the scapula, 2 muscle. From upper 2/3, teres minor, from lower 1/3, teres major. Teres minor inserted in greater tuberosity, and teres major originate from lower 1/3 to inserted in the medial lip of the bicipital groove. Bicipital groove there in between lesser tuberosity and the greater tuberosity has medial lip and lateral lip groove. Medial lip, lateral lip. Medial lip give attached to teres major, and the lateral lip give attached to pectoralis major.